Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Dead people.
Dead? Yeah, yes, there's 2 dead. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Scream, the TV series, Season 1, Episode 1, Red Roses. I'm your host, Dom.
But you can't see.
Yeah, you can. What? You can see me just fine. With me, my co-host, Kim, aka Huffity Puffity, aka B, aka Biera, aka too many AKAs.
Apparently I have all the names, all the things.
All of them. All of them. So, Scream is now a TV series.
Yes, it is.
But you can't do slasher films as a TV series.
I love that they pointed that out in the middle of the show. I was like, oh wow.
Well,
they're making fun of themselves pretty much right there.
That's kind of the way that Scream itself has always been. Like, yeah. You take the first Scream and it's rules of a movie. You take the second Scream and it's rules of a sequel. The third Scream was where Andy, I think his name was. I don't remember his name now. It's been a while. No, not the cop. The smart guy. The film student. I can't remember his name. But you know, he was already dead at this point, but he had a tape, and he goes, "What you need to figure out is this the rules of a sequel? If so, the same rules apply, or is this part of a trilogy? You know, and you will find these, and he had all these other steps." Then the fourth one, which I actually really, really liked the fourth Scream movie, was rules of a remake. And I thought that was brilliant, the way that they did that. The fourth one was so good. So yeah, if you have not had a chance to get it, go watch that. So the Scream TV series, I was really hoping, and that clip of, you know, the you can't do a slasher film as the TV series, that was in the trailer for the series. So I just hearing that line, I felt very comfortable going into the series, knowing that it was going to be very similar to the films, because I love the films. I really
through the entire show, you know, I'm a fan of horror movies, I'm a fan of slasher movies for sure. Mm-hmm. That, you know, this is the Scream's got like a small, you know, they got a cult following, right. So you know that it's gonna be like, okay, that all throughout the show you're seeing all these homage to the movie, to all the movies. Right. Literally, it was just like, it felt completely like it belonged within the series. You get the same characteristics, you get the same, you know, details with, you know, certain character, you know, personalities. You know, you get the bitch, you get the horror, and then the nice girl, and the tall, dark, and handsome, and the movie buff, the one that can sit there and tell you the whole, you know, like the one that's into serial killers and can tell you all of the details.
His name was Randy from the Scream movies. Randy.
Yeah.
I was like, Andy. No, it was close. Andy was close. It was Randy.
But yeah, you get the, you know, the serial killer nerd, I guess you want to call them. You know, but. Yep. And so him telling the whole story, and people getting all like into it, and poor him for falling asleep at a party first. Number 1 rule: never fall asleep at the party first.
Don't do it. It's a trap. So I guess the other big thing besides that is going into it was when they unveiled the new mask. I know that had mixed reviews. What do you think of the mask?
I think it's good for them to try to pull a little bit away from the original, knowing that we know that the original mask was just a regular, you know, mask. It just was little. It wasn't. It's less serious, I guess I think you call it.
Yeah.
It's very play, and this seems a lot more darker.
Right.
So it gives it a little bit more darker of a vibe, and we get this little background story of this other, you know, kid that killed all these other kids and did other stuff 20 years ago.
Right, and I really like how that is actually not tied at all to the Sidney Prescott. I mean, at least not right now. It may at some point end up tying in down the road. But there's no seeming ties to it right now, and I think that's very good. In addition to having the mask change to show you it's separate, kind of
Yeah,
thing from it.
at first I was wondering if they were going to, like, at first I felt like, I'm like, oh, are they going to try to play off the movies, or are they going to like try to make it transition together, and was surprised that they didn't. And I was too, was like, oh, that's actually really cool. I like that they're making it its own entity.
Right.
And but I was really interested in this background story of this other, person. Like, okay, well, I'm starting to get that whole Jason Voorhees vibe, Crystal Lake shit.
Right.
You get the whole, but yeah, the whole older horror movie, slasher gene of the deformed psychopath.
Yeah, it had a very Jason kind of feel to it, which the killer or the person that was in the story was it was a girl named Daisy and what was the guy's name? Brandon
James. Brian James.
Brandon James, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it had a very Jason kind of feel to that. With instead of being the mother he was looking up to, it was love interest.
Yeah.
So there's still a bit of a twist on that whole story. But then it goes, is this the same guy? Like,
well,
we saw he was shot and he was dropped into the lake, but we didn't hear anything about the body being recovered. We're gonna assume the body was not recovered.
Well, just in any horror movie, especially slasher movies, you got to go into everyone's a suspect.
Right.
Because that's the way it's going to be. Because anyone, at any time, there could be a twist, there's going to be a turn, there's going to be all this crazy shit happening.
And you can't even go through the process of being like, okay, so, what's your face? Audrey? The one that was making out on the tape. At the end of the episode, we see Audrey up on the balcony with the girl she was making out with, and then we see Ghostface, whatever. That's what I'm going to call him until we have a better term to call him, but that's what they called him in the movie, so I'm going to continue to call him Ghostface. But we see Ghostface watching them. Does that rule out that one of them is involved? No, it doesn't, because there can be two, like they did in the first 2 Scream movies.
And like, if they're going with that whole same thought process, they're going the same, like, as we see with all the things that coincide with what was going on in the movies, that it could be. And we know that as close as those two, the 2 killers were, nonetheless that they could also kill each other.
Right. That is true. So, I mean, all right, so I guess let's get into the actual episode. It starts off with the popular mean girl, Nina.
The bitch.
Yeah. Nina, we see her, scantily clad by the pool, with her nice little Pomeranian, whole scene. And then it felt very much like, was it the second Scream?
The first. I felt it really felt like the first.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, it was the first one where the boyfriend was tied to the chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I saw that.
That scene got to me. Like, that, the very first, like, that's why I like the whole Scream series. That very first scene of the boyfriend getting literally slashed open the chest made me nauseous for days. So, yeah. I that's another reason I was really excited to see what where they were to go in the direction with the beginning. But yeah, the very beginning, you already started to feel, I'm like, okay, so this bitch is gonna die right off the bat. Like, okay, here we go. Well, you need to know, because sometimes in movies, I've seen it, you can go either way. Either the bitch lives a little longer because they want you to hate her. They want you to hate her so much that you're so happy when she dies.
I didn't hate her. I was sad when she died.
Or she dies right off the bat because she's the bitch. That's it goes in one way or the other. And when she threatened him with the Pomeranian, I was like, yes, I'm afraid of your little pom-poms. Thank you very much.
It's an attack Pomeranian.
Wow. No, not gonna happen. But also, payback is a bitch, and karma got you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I really liked the dialogue that was going on. It seemed like she was able to type way faster than humanly possible, but maybe kids these days can type that fast. I don't know.
I have a keyboard, so I type pretty fast.
Yeah, I have a keyboard, but I don't type that fast.
I don't know.
I type quick, but not that quick, and I thought I typed pretty quick.
The only time I type slow on my phone is when I'm like doing it one-handed.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seemed like double time to me for some reason. I don't know.
Like all the buttons make clicky noises. Click, click, click.
Yeah, I guess.
That might also quick.
But I love that line. Heads up.
I know, and then just I'm like, oh well, there's the boyfriend.
Yeah, but I love how there was no body found.
True, and you don't actually you're not 100% sure if it is the boyfriend, because you just see it float. You see the head. You don't see the face. You don't see anything. It's only for a split second too.
Right.
So it's still a possibility that this guy is still alive.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about Tyler. We know that the police are looking for him. That's all we know.
Mm-hmm. That was another thing that made me go, But, yeah, at first you're like, oh, you do think that I'm automatically. But after it's showing on and them not finding it, I'm like, you don't really get a good look at that head.
No. But then I see... I don't know, I'll get into this in a little bit, but there's a whole thing in here that really ends up confusing me. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that. So it ends up being that Nina here was the one that filmed this video of Audrey making out with a girl in a car. I forget what the girl's name was.
Can we say the power of the internet?
Yes. And I don't know, that whole scene just seemed a little weird now to me, because in the society that we live in now, I don't see that being a big deal. Maybe if this was set 5 to 10 years ago, then I could see the school doing that. But now, I don't see everybody going and pointing and laughing, especially in their late teens.
Being that we're now and everything, especially with the passive, marriage equality.
Right.
You're right. I don't see that being as big of a deal, unless there was some big thing where people used to make fun of her and said she was lesbian, and she kept saying she wasn't lesbian, and all of a sudden she comes out and comes out of nowhere.
They said that it kind of came out of nowhere, so everybody's I didn't know, so it doesn't seem like she was teased or anything prior to this. It just seems like it was discovered, and all of a sudden everybody's making fun of her, and it's just it's really weird, and it may have to do with the timing of current events and stuff that came out, so it may have just been bad timing.
Maybe, or, it could be just, high school kids make fun of people for everything.
Yeah.
So they're going to find something to, she's still slightly the outcast. She's still, she's the video nerd, tech nerd, whatever.
Yep.
And so they're going to find stuff to make fun of people for. Because high school, well, it's college. Kids are cruel.
Yeah, they definitely are.
So, it as confusing as it does seem like it could be, being that you're right, in this day and age we are a lot more accepting in those things, and it would just been oh, someone caught you, they make it out of a car, ha ha ha.
Right.
It wouldn't have been the whole you're a lesbian thing. But again, they're gonna make fun of people just to make fun of people, and obviously was keeping it a secret, and it was made her slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now we know that the girlfriend is uncomfortable with herself, so there is some, things there.
Yeah.
As well.
But then we get into the school, Lakewood High, which I believe the name Lakewood, right, has no ties to the Scream movie franchise at all, but it seems like its own entity. But it sounds very similar to the town that the girls from Pretty Little Liars are. They're from a town called Rosewood. So it's Rosewood, Lakewood. It seems like it's a big, we're gonna just compare ourselves to you right now. So you get, excuse me, you get Pretty Little Liars, which is the teeny bopper, kind of like girls, and it's not so gory. Like, yeah, there's some parts of it that are like disturbing. Like they use like dolls as a lot of like imagery, and you're just like really kind of freaked out by like some of the stuff that goes on there, and
Dolls eat your soul.
yeah, pretty much. But then you have Scream, which is clearly set for the same age group, but now it's a completely different audience because there's the slasher,
Yeah.
there's the blood, there's the gore, the stuff that Rosewood wouldn't touch.
Yeah,
You know?
because you're gonna go for the more horror gene.
Yeah.
You're gonna go more for the cult following of slasher movies.
Yep.
So you are following maybe the same age, but you are gonna get some of the older groups because you are gonna go with some of the people that like the slasher movies.
Yeah.
And because we all know that slasher movies nowadays are not the same. You can't even like put them in the same category because they're awful.
Yeah.
Horror movies are not what they used to be in general.
No.
Most of the time you're not getting scared. I mean, obviously there's a difference between a horror movie and a slasher movie. Slasher movie you're getting gore. Horror movie you're trying to get fear out of.
Right. Yeah, I see Scream as more the slasher, and
Yes.
Pretty Little Liars is more like the psychological.
Yes.
So like they're both very different. There's room for both of them out there. It just depends on what you're more of a fan of. So,
Right.
and like I do watch Pretty Little Liars. We do podcast on it. There's 2 more seasons left of the show. So Scream is going to be a real good replacement for that if it continues on. We'll get into more of the overall theme of where the series is going toward the end of the show. But
I do feel if it continues on this path that I see it doing well.
yeah, no, for sure. But we start learning about Lakewood's history 20 years ago about the man named Brendan James. He killed a bunch of students, cut some of them up. He ended up having Proteus syndrome, which had overgrown bones, skin, tissues, kind of stuff like that.
Known as the Elephant Man disease.
Yeah, exactly. So he ended up being homeschooled. His parents were ashamed of him. He had an older brother named Troy, and he tried to get his face fixed through multiple surgeries, and didn't really work out for him. He wore a surgical mask to kind of hide things, and became obsessed with this girl named Daisy. So things did not end very well. He approached her on Halloween, scared the shit out of her. Things went fine at first, and then when he took his mask off, scared the shit out of her. Which led him into the murders and all that. And then it seemed like she set him up to get arrested, not knowing that the police, in fact, were going to shoot him.
And she felt bad. She felt
Right.
bad for him.
Right. So I don't know. I think that it's possible that Brandon could still be alive, but I do not believe he's the one doing this.
I don't think so either. I do agree with you that I do think it's possibly that he is still alive, being that we didn't see a body, we don't know anything. All we know is he was shot and he fell in the water. That's all we know. We all know that they are playing to that direction, that making people think that it's possibly that it is him with the creepy whispering, which I thought was kind of cool in the very beginning of the show. I'm like, the whole play off the lake and the one kid thinking he was getting pulled into the water when he's like, oh no, it was just fishing line. But
Yeah, we had the classic, let's celebrate, have a party for somebody's death. All the slasher films, they need an excuse to have a party, to get everybody together, and then, like they said, we're fine as long as we stay in a group. But as soon as that one person, and when they said that, it cut to the girl in the garage, so you instantly thought she was gone.
Yeah, I did. I mean, they went, oh my god, they're gonna do the garage scene from the movies. I'm like, really? You're gonna just go with it? I'm like, okay, let's see how they play it off.
Right.
And was surprised when she didn't die, being that she was as I quote, I said second bitch, because she kind of is. She's the bitch / the whore, the one that's hitting on fucking the teacher, and you know that's going to be, she's going to die.
Yeah,
The question is of
her name is Brooke.
oh yeah. Well, the question is of when, but you know she will be one of the people that die, or is it going to be the teacher? That's where I want to see where it's like who's gonna die first.
Maybe the teacher's involved in this.
Maybe
I mean, we could point fingers at everybody.
we can.
Literally everybody's a suspect. The cast, even went as far as saying in interviews, they don't know.
Mhm.
And the best thing about them is until someone dies is the only way to rule them out.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is, but with again, that's pure slasher. Like, if you don't you either know right off the bat. That's how slasher movies work. You either know right off the bat who the killer is,
Right.
and they're running around because of whatever, or it is a mystery full of twists and turns and all kinds of crap.
Well, the one reliable thing you got out of the movies is, okay, it's not Sydney. That's about as much as you knew.
Mm-hmm.
But here we have the main character we're following around, this girl named Emma,
Mm-hmm.
whose mother just happens to be Daisy.
Correct.
But she's not saying anything about that. She goes under the name Maggie now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, super hush hush.
yeah. But for all we know, it could be Emma. We can't even rule her out.
I honestly don't think so, because usually, you know, you're playing off she's the nice girl, she's the survivor, she's gonna be the one that lives, maybe,
And watches all her friends in the ambulance.
correctly. Or are we gonna get a whole nother thing where everybody dies, which you know, that's gonna be awesome, because it's like, oh, everyone dies, that throws you off a little. But I mean, she still is, you know, in any of, you know, horror movies, slasher movies, any of them, you have that one person that lives. So is she that one person that lives, or is everyone going to be died and there was blood everywhere?
I don't know. I'm not going to rule Emma out. I can't do it. I can't. Can't. You're so quick to dismiss her. And
I don't know. I'm not completely dismissing. I don't know.
I'm not willing to dismiss anyone.
Going with my knowledge.
Nina is the only one that I'm willing to dismiss.
Because she's dead.
Correct.
Well, let's talk about brand new, tall, dark, and handsome. Let's bring him into this play, because we also find out at the same time that we know that Emma's mom, Daisy, or what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
All my names are bitch and all kinds of things. I have nicknames for everybody at this point. But she's got this thing for the cop that she works with. And we find out that the cop is the dad of the new guy. So it's like, oh, okay. So there's
his name's Karen.
Karen?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just calling him tall, dark, and handsome. Because he was. Playing that off.
Okay.
You know, he's mysterious, and he obviously has a little bit of knowledge of this whole slasher horror stuff too.
Yeah, well, so Maggie came out to Karen's father, the cop.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Sheriff Clark. So he knows now about Maggie. Emma still doesn't even know about Maggie, Daisy, you know, all that. So there's that. And then, so we had Emma's boyfriend, Will, right? Find out that he was hooking up with Nina.
The cheater.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of weirdness going on between him and the other guy.
I think his name was Jake, if I'm not mistaken. It's gonna take a while to get all these names down. But
now those two are being very suspicious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because they're like, oh, you know, get rid of the evidence. We had our hand in this. You had your hand in it too. Like, they're going back and forth. But so this is where I was at. So, the phone number that was texting Nina at the beginning of the episode was Tyler, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But Tyler ends up texting the video that supposedly Will and what did I just say his name was?
James.
Will and James. Had, like, they hacked into the webcam, so supposedly the three of them were in on it then. So if Tyler's dead, then maybe those two are the next targets. If Tyler is the killer, those two are involved.
Hmm.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
I
So,
mean, they obviously know something.
or the other option is that it was Tyler screwing around and then died somewhat in the middle of that. That's the third option.
Like it started out, it was actually him that was texting her, and then the
Correct.
killer joined in and killed him,
Correct.
and then took over the phone and continued with the game,
Mm-hmm.
but more towards his direction or
Right.
her direction because we don't know if it's a he or her. Though I will play on this thought that, of course, I know this doesn't count, doesn't really hold a lot of weight,
Yeah.
but to me, the very first like time you see the full person standing there, I got a female vibe. Now I don't know
Mm.
why, but I did. Now I could totally be wrong.
See now, looking into it, some details and stuff. They don't as of filming the pilot, they didn't have the killer figured out yet.
Okay.
They had someone in mind, but they said things could change, and they said by the end of this season, we will get pertinent information about the killer.
Mm.
But that does not mean that we will learn his identity, his or her identity. So,
Well, no, you got to keep it going. You
right.
can't reveal that. That's in the show.
Right. So there's that because there was talk originally that this was going to be like an anthology series, much like American Horror Story, where every season is a different
Oh, it's a
story.
little different.
So they decided not to go that route. They said that they have a fantastic cast, and they want to be able to work with whoever ends up surviving into next season.
So
So,
like every episode, I'm like, well, we've decided you're gonna die instead. Sorry.
well,
So basically, every person on the show goes, I don't know if I'm gonna have a job next week.
well, yeah, that's that. See, that's the tricky part with a show like this. I mean, it's there was like I don't know if you were a big fan of the TV show Lost, but that had a giant cast. There was like 32 people on the main cast in like the first season or something like that, and then they'd slowly start getting killed off. And some of them, this place was filmed in Hawaii, so they're living in Hawaii. They're buying houses, taking residency, hotels, whatever the case is.
Hmm.
They get carried on for the second season, they get carried in for the third season, then they get a script in the middle of the third season that they die. They're like, okay, well, I guess I'm moving. It's just like, so I mean, it's not as extreme, for this because this does not seem to be filmed in Hawaii,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's anybody I think is fair game, and that's what's gonna keep this show fresh for me, is
Oh yeah.
literally anybody because I don't
And
even
if
feel
they
Emma
don't
safe.
know, there's no way we know.
Yeah, I don't feel Emma safe. I think Emma could die.
I see her lasting a while though.
Yeah,
If
no, I
if
definitely
you
see her
do,
lasting a while.
she's gonna be lasting a while because she pretty much pointed her out as a main character, and we
Yep.
know that they're playing off with the situation of the past with her mother, so we know she's got to stick around for that situation.
Right, so we have that
Because
whole thing is we have the troubled mother kind of vibe that Sydney had in the movies, but Sydney's mother was dead. That's the
right.
the little change on that. But yeah, there's definitely some troubled past with the mother, and I know in the third Scream movie it was revealed that the mother went and slept around and had another son, so Sydney had a
Son.
brother, and then, like there was all this whole mystery stuff
And then he ended
surrounding
up
the
being the
mother.
killer later.
Yeah, so the mother ended up being like this big plot point. So it seems like they're carrying that over for the TV series. It worked well for the movie, so let's do it here. So difference is
I,
she's alive here, but then we have Karen, who's now playing the new boyfriend role,
mhm,
who is very similar to Sydney's boyfriend in the first movie.
mhm.
I don't know why I don't remember his name. I think it began with an L. Loomis, Billy Loomis. Yeah, Billy. So
Billy does one right.
yeah, so he seems to be taking the role of Billy, but that does not necessarily mean he's the killer. So
No, I don't know. That again, I don't like. Yeah, everyone's a killer at this point.
yeah,
But
literally, I'm not even gonna rule out the sheriff.
I'd love to see. I'm ready to see for the next next coming up episodes the confrontation between the old boyfriend and the new boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
because we know that there's something obviously got a bunch of shit going on with those two, and now we're having another. It's like this boyfriend, this the whole he's obviously possessive. So obviously, I don't see the other girl lasting very much longer, especially
Becky.
if those two, if those two are like, if they're the killers or something or whatever. I don't know, but they definitely got some shit going on, and she just fucked up with him by pretty much revealing that he cheated on Emma.
Right. Yeah. So we have that going on. We have, it turns out Emma and Audrey, the girl that was filmed, and ended up being really close when they were younger. Grew apart. Emma seems like she's making an effort for Audrey. Audrey finds out that it seems like it's a pity attempt because of what Nina did. And it's like, oh, I want your sympathy. And so Audrey kind of explodes, wants nothing to do with that. So there's clearly some kind of struggle there that they're going to be touching on. They're going to be trying to repair.
I was wondering if she was the killer.
Yeah, and then we get the classic Scream phone call guy.
Oh yeah,
Was not the same voice. I
No,
wish that was the only thing that stayed, because I loved the voice in the movies. But
that was again in the movies. It was that same that playing voice that it was very it went with the mask, and this is again being a little bit more serious.
Right.
So he is, though you still get the somewhat undertones of the jokingness, it's still a lot darker.
Yeah.
But again, that's still kind of like anything anymore nowadays. Really, everything's going a little bit on the darker side of things.
No, don't get me wrong. Remakes. I like it darker. I do like it darker, but I have such like nostalgia for that voice.
Oh, I know.
I was just hoping when that phone rang and she answered, I was hoping it was the same voice.
So. You like scary movies?
But it was so good. Like the voice even carried into the fourth movie, which I know you didn't see, and there's so much stuff that I want to talk about in the fourth movie of how it relates to the series. So you're gonna have to watch it before the next show, because we'll get into it then. But
okay.
Then after that we get that final scene of the Ghostface guy just looking at Audrey and her girlfriend-ish thing, kissing or whatever. And then there was like some scenes going on. I don't remember if it was before or after, but we saw Audrey actually had like this giant bulletin board of like all different things, and one of the photos on there was a photo of Brandon James.
Yeah.
It's like,
that made me go, ooh.
Yeah.
That definitely picked it up immediately, and I went, oh, why do you got that on there?
Yeah.
What's going on in that situation?
And then we had Noah. Was it Noah? I think his name was Noah. Noah gets asked to come down to the police station, make a report, because he knows all about Brandon. So they left a lot of seeds in this episode.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, which is good, being that we're excited to see the what's coming up next, what's going to happen. Lots of questions, lots and lots of questions, and excited the answers. At the same time, you're like, oh, well, I like the mystery. I like the they could go anywhere. There's any direction can happen. Nothing is against the rules at this point. It's just go. The
one thing that has me upset and slightly worried is that we're not going to get the reveal of the killer for the second season. The only reason this worries me is because we don't know if we're getting a second season.
True. That all depends on how this plays out.
So if the show does not do well and they leave us hanging, I'm going to be very upset. Put it that way.
Yeah. Me too, because that's like this huge looming question of who the fuck did it?
Yeah. But it seems like from the way the cast is talking, the director, everybody's talking, is they're planning for season 2. Like, it's definitely going to happen. So for all we know, MTV may have set, a certain number of seasons deal with them. They may have like a 2 or 3 season deal. If that's the case, they may plan to go X amount of time and have it set to be, okay, so if they have a 2-season deal, they'll have the killer revealed at the end of season 2. But if it's like a 2-season deal with an option for, renewal, then they could kind of have an open ending thing, and based on where they stand in the ratings, they'll be like, okay, we're probably getting renewed, so let's go ahead and push this off. Many TV shows do that. So,
I mean, if they have it as open ended as it is, as they could, it could just be like, okay, well, we're just gonna keep playing this. We're gonna keep doing this, and they can keep. And we can even see introduction of new characters. They're at a high school. There's tons and tons and tons of people in this school.
Yep.
So what we got to, in this episode is just a fraction of the people that could be involved.
I mean, we really only had one major murder. The second one we saw was the head, but we don't, we don't know the details on that. So I'm not even going to really count the head right now, until the body is actually found. So I was a little disappointed when it came to the body count for the episode, but then I had to realize, this is a TV series. They need to stretch this out. They can't just wipe all the characters out on us. And as much as I would have loved that,
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, if they're gonna go with a TV series, you have to draw it out. In a movie, obviously, they could just go slashing around all over the place because you only got 2 hours. Let's just kill everybody, slash all over the place. So
yep,
that's why the whole when they started going into the garage thing, and I'm like, oh wow, we're already gonna get a second murder. Here we go, and then it didn't happen. It was like, oh, that surprised me. Okay. Because they obviously led it into that direction to where you think that was going to happen. The whole, car being turned on, we don't see the second person, and then, oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. I'm looking forward to this next week. I'm going to be looking forward to it for the rest of the season. I want it renewed already, just based off the first episode. And, yeah, I don't know. Really good series. It stayed true to the movies, I thought, but still branched out and had its own take on it. And I'm just really excited. Really excited for it.
And me too. This episode is definitely, like I said at first, I was worried. At first, I didn't know if I was like, okay, well, I love the movies. Am I going to be okay with this becoming a TV show? And I'm like, well, I jumped on this, like, okay, I'll do this podcast. I'll do it because I want to see what's going to happen. So when I watched the first episode, and I went, oh, so glad I jumped on this.
Yeah.
It definitely lives up
It's going to be good, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the Scream kind of tropes are going to come into play. And what Scream is famous for is introducing a lot of the other horror elements into it. What's your favorite scary movie? I don't think it's going to play out exactly like that, but there's going to be influences, I think, from other horror films that you're going to see in this.
No doubt. I mean, you're already seeing the influences now.
Right.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the playing off and what they introduce in the upcoming episodes. And I was so intrigued by the posts, showing for the next few episodes. Stuff.
Yeah, coming up on this season, they just showed a whole reel of everything that's coming, and it's just oh wow, this looks very good.
Yeah, oh my god, I can't wait for the next episode. I just can't.
Next episode is called Hello, Emma. And the death of Nina and another teen raises questions, so it's probably the boyfriend, maybe? I don't know.
Or a whole nother one.
Yeah, it could be somebody else.
We might get another murder scene.
Yep. Raises questions and leads to a rift between Emma and Audrey. Oh, so if this leads to a rift between Emma and Audrey, I'm going to say that this could be Audrey's girlfriend, maybe.
Already,
you jump right into that. That's my bold prediction is Audrey's girlfriend is going to die.
Well, we did see something happen in those previews.
Did we?
How much are you paying attention?
I don't know. I just saw a lot of flashes of things and was just overwhelmed.
There was a lot of flashes, but there was a flash of the house that they were sitting in, and someone hanging themselves.
Oh.
So, how that all ties in, and if was her, I don't know.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Regardless, in other events, a podcaster
I'll turn around.
A podcaster arrives in town to report on the past and present murders.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, yeah.
So in the movies it was Courtney Cox's character, the news reporter.
Yes. I forget her name.
I don't remember. I just remember who played it.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the movies, so I don't remember her name.
I just
Gail Weathers.
That sounds right.
That is right. It's Gail Weathers.
Okay.
Oh, it takes me a minute. It processes.
I just remember who played. That's all.
Yep.
That's what's like.
Yeah,
okay.
no. Courtney Cox played Gail Weathers. That's what it was.
So. Getting more.
Could be that, and it could be kind of the direction that they went with Scream 4 when it comes to that. So.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, go watch Scream 4. We'll talk about it next week.
I'll go watch it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that about wraps things up. You have anything else for us, B?
Nope. Oh, I did make a joke in the beginning. I wrote it down. When she asked her phone to freaking call 911, and it wanted to call something else. I was like, "Fuck you, sir! Fuck you!"
Call Pottery Barn.
Yeah. Fuck you, sir.
It's great. It's great. It's classic phone malfunction.
Real world, first world problems.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah.
Kim, where can the people find you?
All the things. HUFFITY, PUFFITY on Twitter. I have my own graphics website. If you haven't seen the graphics that are behind me, I made these. You can find me at bria.carbonmade.com. And that's it.
Excellent. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter. MySpace. No, see, it still didn't work. And right here on YouTube at /ASO TV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. I don't know why I always get this cough when I'm doing that last speech.
It's awful.
I tried to fix it. Anyway, till next week. See you guys later. B, look out. Ghostface is right behind you.
Oh my god.
Heads up.
And